Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gillcast, the RotoGrinders NFL Daily Fantasy Recap Show, where myself, Davis Mattek, Sammy Reid, and Nate Nohling are going to bring you through the most cursed Sunday in NFL history. I believe, Sammy, this is the first time we've done the show where all three of us have had losing Sundays.
I think that's true. True. And I just got to tell you, boys, I am steaming with tilt right now. I'm tilting it up. Let's get this. Let's just do this. I'm ready.
So you can start, because your team was worse than Nate and I's, and our team was pretty bad.
I mean, I think I might have had the nut low.
You could be like in last place of like everyone who submitted a team in the $25 single entry double up.
That is correct. I'm definitely on the bottom page. Like I was just a straight beta today. What can I say? Like this was just a beta performance, and it was bad. And it started with the biggest beta of all, beta Blake Bortles in the QB spot. I don't even know what I was thinking. Like, why did I do that? I don't get what I was doing. I'm a fish. What can I say?
Why Blake Bortles instead of Beathard, I guess, is the question that I have to ask you.
I don't know. I wish I had some answers for you. I was just like, dude, Bortles, the defense is Houston's defense is real bad, and I think
Were you stuck on him early in the week? Like, was that like an early in the week play, or was that like you woke up today and you started? Because I didn't even like the Jacksonville offense wasn't even on my radar this week.
No, and it was on nobody's. It was like 2% owned, and that's how I know I'm a fish. It's like, dude, this thought process was so out of left field. It was like him. The cheap guys I was looking at was at the beginning of the week, it was Beathard. And then I kind of decided I felt a little bit safer with Bortles / Flacco. And I liked Flacco a little better, but I ended up not having the $200. And I'm like, whatever, dude, Bortles is fine. Houston's offense or defense sucks. And, they throw the ball more when Fournette's not in there. So let's go. And it was just, dude, he got benched. He was so bad.
So
you didn't even get Bortles garbage time. Like, that's why you roster Bortles, and they freaking benched him. Like, that's tilt.
Yeah.
I also had the over on 41.5 in that game, so I was pretty tilt that the starting quarterbacks got benched because that was not optimal for that wager. Nate and I both played Jameis Winston, but all the sharp people played the other quarterback in that game. Baker Mayfield was like the highest owned guy in the like $1,000 double ups and stuff.
Which I can get with that. Like, yeah. I liked Mayfield. I had a bunch of them in tournaments. I didn't think that paying up for quarterback was the move in a slate where there was so much tight pricing. I didn't feel like spending up at that position was good. But, I mean, seriously, I should have spent $0 at quarterback and just allocated it elsewhere. I would have been better.
I wasn't on Mayfield much. I mean, I think my three quarterbacks that I really wanted this week was either Winston, CJ Beathard, or Goff. I mean, I could see Stafford a little bit, but those were really the guys that I was looking at. But
you can't ever play Goff in cash because Gurley might just score 4 running touchdowns.
Yeah, I just think whenever you can get like a quarterback of an offense that's going to like guaranteed put up points, like it's like when Mahomes not on the slate, like Goff's got to be the highest floor quarterback available.
Jameis, man. Jameis is running, and they just throw the ball deep every play. I'm not even kidding. Like, Jameis is like the 3rd or 4th best quarterback in fantasy now. So, like, anytime.
He's so bad. He is so bad. He's like good. He's like Blake Bortles with weapons, basically.
What's the difference between Jameis and Deshaun Watson?
The offense is better. He just has deeper weapons at every level than.
You think so?
And he doesn't have a punctured lung right now also.
I was going to say, the only reason I think Deshaun Watson wasn't a great play today is because of the lung stuff. But Deshaun Watson healthy, I would put the Texans receivers, I mean, Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins, and Kiki right up with.
But then you add in the 2 tight ends and the offensive coordinator, and I think the edge clearly goes to Winston.
Yeah. I think Deshaun Watson, though, is one of those guys who's just like Winston at like when he's healthy, he's just going to chuck and he's not going to be efficient. But both him and Winston and Watson, I think are both going to be in play just because of the sheer volume. That those
Winston is 6K against the Bengals next weekend. So,
did you know how bad Watson's injury was? I didn't. I had a lot of Watson in tournaments.
Yeah,
I saw it. You can't.
Yeah,
fly.
there were like pregame reports of like he had to drive to the game. He couldn't.
Yeah,
fly.
I missed. I didn't see that until like
you know who else can't fly? Like people who are pregnant. Okay, people who are pregnant and Deshaun Watson can't play him.
So, Nate, we played the same 3 running backs: Nick Chubb, Todd Gurley, and Ezekiel Elliott.
Yep.
I mean,
the Zeke thing was
a tire fire. Like that was
so I should at least the 2v2 that I didn't do that all the good people did was everyone good played Thielen and Kerryon Johnson, and everyone bad like me played Taylor Gabriel or another 4.5K wide receiver in Ezekiel Elliott. And that was bad about 3 seconds after the game started when Adam Thielen caught a 40-yard touchdown, I believe.
yeah.
The moment he caught it, I was like, R.I.P. our equity.
It's just at that point you're like, well, I guess I hope Zeke gets 30 in the late games, and that's like all you can hope for. And it obviously didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty tilting.
So Sammy, you have to go into your logic on the Nick Chubb fade now.
Oh God. I mean, it's going to be bad. It's just going to be me gurgling like a fish and people are going to be laughing like
but this is why this podcast exists. You have to gurgle.
All right. So I feel like Justin Tucker, like after he missed that extra point to lose the game, he like stood up to the podium and he's like, "You know what? I got to be accountable. Just got to be a man about it." And that's what's going to happen now. So I played Peyton Barber over Nick Chubb. And
that is so ADHD of you, man.
I got no defense. I mean, here's what I was thinking. And obviously I'm a fish, so let's just cut to the chase right there. I'm like, dude, Peyton Barber is going to get the same workload as Nick Chubb. Like, Nick Chubb's basically stepping into Carlos Hyde's workload. And Hyde gets a bunch of carries, but he doesn't really see the ball through the air. And the Browns are a road dog. Like, I did not like Chubb in this game. And I think that if it was Carlos Hyde at 3.6, I don't think he would have been nearly as highly owned. I think people bought into Chubb's talent, and they bought into the news, right? People bought the news.
Oh, and no, he would have been, if Carlos Hyde was priced at 3,600, he would have been stone chalk.
You think? Like
yes.
70% owned like Chubb?
Maybe more like 55%, just because it wouldn't have been like as much of an, but he would have been on any. He would have been on any optimal you ran.
You're basically just like begging for a touchdown, and if you don't get it as a road dog, what are you actually getting here?
About 8 points.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I
accept that.
But here's the thing, and why it was fish, and we've talked about this all the time, is that everybody was playing Chubb. And it's not like I thought Barber was so much better. Like, it's not like I think Peyton Barber is good at all. I just thought, look, this is a way to gain equity on the field. And it was just a bad spot to bet. It was a bad spot to bet. So there I go. I'm a fish.
Playing Peyton Barber was just not good.
I mean, Peyton Barber in cash. Like, dude, I need to like –
you got to reevaluate.
Reevaluate my existence, bro. Like, I can't believe I did that.
I mean, Peyton Barber had a higher floor.
Did he?
For sure. Yeah.
How many targets a game is Peyton Barber seeing? I don't even know the answer.
I mean, I think he saw 4 last game and had a receiving touchdown. Like, I mean, it's not that great overall.
This does sort of go back to the conversation that we had with Nate about Sterling Shepard, though. Like, you knew you were fading the highest. Well, I guess the second highest owned guy.
Second highest owned.
I did know that, and I don't know why I did. I mean, like, I felt like Barber was the better play, and I just said, you know what? I'm smarter than everybody else, and I'm going to gain all this equity on the entire field. Then I'm going to go on Twitter and brag about it. And instead, now I'm on the Gillcast, like, talking about what an idiot I am. And, yeah, that's my week in a nutshell.
The other thing I would say is, like, and this isn't to drag Sammy through the mud, but I just think running back Running back fades are a lot riskier than wide receiver fades.
They can lump the touchdowns up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just think when you know a running back's going to get 16 rushing attempts, like fading a high-owned running back in cash games is much more dangerous than fading a high-owned wide receiver in cash games. Because I think that there's, no matter what the wide receiver's projection is, there's ways that they cannot reach that, where with running backs, it's a lot harder when you're going to see 16 targets. The floor at 3.6.
Here's the good news is it didn't really matter. Like, I was dead anyway. So,
you could have been like me and Davidson, played him and still ended up with 118 points and 30 points from the cash line.
Yeah, I mean, I played Blake Bortles and Peyton Barber in cash. Like, delete my account. I mean, I
self-exclude for a week at least.
Yes, self-exclude. Like, I kid you guys not. I was telling Davis this earlier. I haven't talked about this because, like, I didn't want to jinx it. For the season, through 6 weeks, I was cashing more than 90% in double-ups and 50-50s. I've never had, like, a sick run like this. And I just came crashing down to earth this week with, like, terrible decisions. And, just, like, the regression monster just ate my freaking face. It's crazy.
Regression from your own brain telling you to play Peyton Barber.
Jesus, what happened?
I guess, you know what? You should be less tilted than me, though, because I had the right avenue to winning. I just willfully chose to do the wrong thing.
Well, let's talk about the Thielen and Zeke thing. Like talk to me about your thought process there, and Nate, I want to hear what you're thinking on that as well.
So my thought process, I won't lie, it was definitely a little bit impacted by the wind, but not in the sense of like, oh, I think the wind will make it so that Thielen won't have a good day. Just that I thought it would make that game a little grosser, a little bit lower scoring, a little bit more rushing attempts from the Vikings, a little bit more controlled offense from the Jets. And basically that didn't come true. The Vikings scored a ton of points and the Jets had, Chris Herndon going off or whatever. And Thielen had the 40-yard touchdown in the first game of the play. And also, I guess a trend to note is that Elliott is just seeing way less usage in the passing game than he was through the first month of the season. So that definitely matters. I do think I ran kind of bad, though, just because this will be Elliott's worst game of the season. He won't have another game this bad. And right at the end, Dak Prescott had a 1-yard rushing touchdown, obviously, that would normally go to Elliott. So I would have salvaged a little bit more with that. But I actually think maybe it was worse to not play carry on, given how owned he was. I was not expecting him to be that popular.
Neither was I.
Yeah, I mean, the Elliott thing for me was just, Elliott's workload is so safe, I thought. Like, before this week, he was
20 carries, 24 carries, 26 carries the last 3 weeks.
And even his reception workload. He had over a target share. He had 3 weeks of the last 4 that was over a 20% target share, almost 25% target share from the running back position. So I just thought that having a lineup with Gurley and Zeke was like such a high floor way to build that I don't know. The Thielen thing, I could totally see a 7-target game from Thielen. And I thought that
isn't that what he got?
Yeah. And I think 7 targets, you have to have massive efficiency, which obviously Thielen did. But
well, here, time out. By the way, in the massive $25 single entry double up, what's his face? Carry-on was only 14.5%.
Yeah, Carry-on wasn't owned very highly, except for in the sharps.
Yeah, I guess, so I guess that's more what I meant.
Yeah, so Thielen did get 10 targets, and he caught 9 of them, and he had a touchdown for it, and ended up with 110 yards. And so he was right on the right side of all that variance, but I think the reason that everybody was so comfortable with Thielen, it was that stupid stat.
It was that stupid stat.
And I just part of me was okay fading Thielen because I thought that the reasons people were on him were kind of just dumb, you know. And I think that when I looked at the actual numbers, Zeke has the highest rushing attempt share, I think, of any running back.
He does.
And even in his projection this week, I had him as the highest rushing attempt, and then right behind Gurley, basically, from a target projection from a running back. And so even though I project his offense to be in much worse conditions, I projected him to have an 18% target share and 75% of the rushing attempts. I'm going to take that over a wide receiver
That's exactly the way I felt about it. And I ended up playing both Zeke and Gurley as well over Thielen. Same deal.
Thielen wasn't even my second option. I don't think I was going to throw out a lineup today that was going to have Thielen. My second option was going to go was the lineup that you guys, the carry-on lineup that I threw out there earlier in the day that you guys didn't like. And I get it why, because, just from an ownership perspective, Thielen or Zeke was the way to build. But my other lineup that I had thrown out there was getting more exposure to that Detroit offense and going Chubb, carry-on, and Gurley as my 3 running backs, and then going like a high floor guy.
To be honest, I just didn't really want to play carry on.
I was high on carry on, man.
Yeah.
I wanted carry on.
I don't even think I had him on any of my GPP teams.
Yeah. So talk to me about that, Nate, because when I looked at carry on, I was like, dude, this is a, running back on the road who doesn't get goal line work. Like what
and
do we
who doesn't really get targets.
Yeah. I mean, I know that Riddick was out, but I mean, certainly there was a scenario where Abdullah came in and soaked up some of those targets, et cetera.
That's what the reports were. The reports were that Abdullah was going to play passing downs.
Yeah, I just didn't get it. So talk to me, because obviously my process this week was just dog doo-doo. So what's up?
I had carry on for a top 10 target share projection for running backs, and a top maybe 5, top 5% for rushing attempts, above 50% of the rushing attempts, and above 12% of the target share for $4,500. And versus Miami, which is, obviously matchups aren't a huge, factor, but I projected his yards per carry to be pretty high in here, and his overall efficiency to be high. I thought Detroit was going to put up points, no problem here in this spot. That's why I also like Tate, and I also like Stafford. Even though I projected their volume to be a little bit lower. Stafford's volume was obviously much lower than I expected, so the Tate play was kind of –
both of these teams play so slow.
Kind of ended up being light. But, I projected Miami to have the lowest plays of the slate, but I projected Detroit to have – Detroit has such a high percentage of passing attempts. It was like San Francisco and then Detroit from a percentage of their plays that they would pass. So I don't know. I just thought carry on at $4,500 had such a significantly higher floor than any other running back that was close to him.
He was.
I'm looking at the double ups. People above me just straight dunked on me with Kenyon Drake. Who got 6 carries.
You play Peyton Barber, you get what you get, man.
Yeah, looking at carry on's floor, I don't know how I didn't jam carry on in.
Everyone good had him, so that is a signal to me that my thought process was wrong.
Yep.
carry on's floor is the similar to obviously Michelle got hurt today, but similar to Michelle.
Well, what are you talking about? Michelle gets touchdowns for a good offense. How is Carry On Johnson like that?
Carry On not going to get any goal line work at all year.
Dude,
what was their team total? Their team total
in the middle of the day, he doesn't get goal line carries, mate.
It was 25.
People are tilting on Twitter about LeGarrette Blount.
Detroit had a higher team total. Detroit had a higher implied team total than New England.
Yes, but Michelle will get the goal line work. Carry On will get no goal. I would be honestly shocked if he gets one carry inside the 5 all year. Maybe one. Maybe he'll get one.
Nate, you do realize that they substitute out Carry On Johnson at the goal line for LeGarrette Blount. That's a thing. Whereas Sony Michelle, they give him the ball and he goes into the end zone. That's the difference. Team total.
I don't actually know if this is taking. I'm looking at Nate's face, and it's hard for me to tell if he's actually understanding this information.
Bewildered.
He forgot LeGarrette Blount was on the Detroit line.
No, I mean I'm just I don't know.
You literally have to give him 5% touchdown equity of that team total. He's only getting it if it's a long run. That's just the way it is. That's the way their offense goes.
And, I want to keep roasting Nate over this, but all the sharps had Carry On Johnson, and I did not have Carry On Johnson.
Yeah, so it's just something I did wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll have to break down the data to see exactly why, but I have Carry On Johnson with still a decent expected percentage of the touchdown rushing for that team, like 50% of the touchdown.
Doesn't LeGarrette Blount have all of the rushing touchdowns for that team?
No.
Yes.
LeGarrette Blount, I have with rushing expected touchdowns of 2.36, and I have carry on with like 1.4.
Yeah, but you're just like equating that to yardage, right?
No, based on where each person has seen their touches. So of the 69 rushing attempts that carry on's got, where it's like a log model that's based on like where you are closer to the end zone. So I'll have to break it down specifically.
I would suggest putting into that algorithm. This team signed LeGarrette Blount to score 9 touchdowns this season, and he only has 2 so far, so he's got 7 to make up. Actually, wait, no, he's got 3 now.
3. He's got 3 now.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can just go ahead and lock that up. All right, let's talk about these receiver plays that we made. Woods, Curse, and
Woods was the play.
I mean, I had to swap to Cooks, but yes.
Yeah, Woods was the play.
I only swapped off DeAndre Hopkins because Nate, who's like the ultimate nuke truther, is like, "Nah, I'm playing Woods," and I'm like, "Oh snap! I better."
I mean, I think Woods was the right play over.
Yeah, I had a lot of Hopkins in tournaments.
Yeah, me too. I kept him in
GPPs. Right there.
You know what was not the right play?
Jermaine Curse?
No, Josh Reynolds, because apparently Josh Reynolds got benched for Nick Williams.
Yeah, Nick Williams dunked on him. Like, I mean, it was just a sick. I didn't play Reynolds in cash. Did you?
I didn't play Reynolds in cash. I played Curse, but I was planning on playing Reynolds in cash for quite a while.
Well, by the way, Josh Reynolds had infinite times more points than Jermaine Curse did.
So, I mean, Jermaine Curse, like everyone played. I mean, he was 58% owned in the single entry, $25 double up, but he did not receive a catch in this NFL contest.
So sharp. He's going to play the slot, bro. It's going to be great. He got 9 targets once. Like, oh, yeah.
You know what the worst part about the Curse play was? I got excited when I saw the win because I knew Robbie Anderson wasn't going to get the targets.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, these fish are going to move off Curse when it's Robbie Anderson. They should be moving off. And Robbie Anderson got all of the targets.
I mean, I can't tell you why that turned out bad, but I think that anytime you put Jermaine Curse in your cash lineup, it's just bad.
I don't even know if there's one reason why it turned bad. I just think it was like, dude, he's Jermaine Curse.
Yeah, right.
Like the Vikings were too good. And Darnold just like targeted the tight ends a bunch today, I guess.
Who's that? Herndon that just like jammed all day?
Yeah.
Where Curse should have.
Nick Williams.
Robbie Anderson was the one who got all the targets. Robbie Anderson got 10 targets with an average depth of target of like 25 yards. He had like 240 air yards.
Oh my God.
To Robbie.
This is so sick. I mean, Andre Roberts had 2 for 21. Some guy named T. Cannon had 4 for 69.
Trent Cannon, he's like a legit good third down running back. He's going to be a thing.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he actually is.
Nice.
Is there anywhere that has snap counts the night of?
PFF.
Yeah?
Yeah, it should.
All right, I'm going to go.
All I can tell you is Jermaine Curse had as many targets as Deontay Burnett.
I don't actually know who that is.
When Isaiah Crowell out-targets you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like,
that is just such a massive L.
Eric Tomlinson. Oh, God. I mean, this was brutal.
Powell even got hurt in this game. So like theoretically that should move an extra couple slot targets to this. Maybe Curse just didn't play in the slot. Did you? I didn't. Not like.
Do you think I watched the Jets game?
Well, it wasn't on red zone at all.
No, one of the PFF guys said that he played in the slot like most of the day. He was out there, and both of his targets came when he was outside. He didn't get a single slot target, even though he played there the majority of the day.
Oh, man. We don't know anything about football, dude. We don't know anything.
Such an L. It's crazy. I legit, 2 minutes into the second quarter, I was like, Curse is scoring 0, and I stopped watching the game. I knew it.
You know what's crazy is Kelvin Benjamin dunked on all these plays. Kelvin Benjamin was the best cheap wide receiver of the day.
Did Cardi DM you to like tell you how good?
No, Cardi was DMing me because he did the other side of our 2v2. He had the sharp side. He had the Thielen carry on side. So he was smashing and he was like, which one did you do, bro? And I was like,
Wait, how is Kelvin Benjamin to play? He had 5 targets.
yes.
I mean,
dunked on Jermaine Curse.
Yeah, that's a lot more than Curse, bro. That's 150% more.
Wait, what did Snead do? Did he do anything?
Snead was owned. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, people were looking for a cheap wide receiver to play in that spot.
No, Snead didn't do anything. He had 7 targets for Jack.
You know who really didn't do anything? The guy that I played instead of Kerryon Johnson, Taylor Gabriel, who was completely blanked until the last 2 drives for the Bears. And you know why? Because they just call absolutely everything in that offense for Tari Cohen now. It's Tari Cohen first, second, and third. Like Jordan Howard gets a carry for 2 yards on first down, then it's Cohen on second down, then Trubisky scrambles for first down on third down. That's how their successful drives go.
So you played Taylor Gabriel in cash?
Yep.
Did.
Wow.
And obviously part of the reason I felt comfortable doing that is I already survived that battle once in the game when he had like 35.
Oh yeah, I was there with you. We had Gabriel.
So
I mean, Gabriel was like getting like actual usage in this offense, Sammy. I don't think Gabriel was actually very light of a play. Like, I mean, he's
no Jermaine Curse, but
no, he was pretty thin, Nate.
You think so?
Yeah.
He had 3 straight weeks of above 20% target share. He had and target share isn't equal. Like when you have his explosiveness and you're getting 20% target share, like it's much different than like Allen Robinson getting like 20% like chuck balls at him. Like
but they're a very game plan specific team, I feel like. So I kind of think like you need to incorporate that a little bit into your decision making, not even into the model, but into your decision making. But
you'd think he'd be a good match for New England. Like New England's slow, so it was like Cohen and Gabriel were probably good plays against them.
I would love to see the snap counts. I watched this game and I feel like I didn't see Gabriel on the field.
I think Miller was out there for him the whole game.
Miller played a lot, and
Miller
he got getting a lot of looks too, I think.
I mean, honestly, if we want to just like stop burying the lead, Trey Burton is the guy. Trey Burton just over the field all day long.
I mean, he was in this game. I don't know if that will be that way going forward, but yeah, he was. I mean, dude, Cohen had 6 carries and 11 targets.
You guys, a lot of people played Mitch Trubisky. And
he was in our friend Derek Carty's blitz optimal lineup.
He was popping in the models. Tell me, just tell me, because I'm an idiot, why, like, how Trubisky's better than, like, Blake Bortles. Like, what's the difference?
Because he, like, legit runs, like, 60 yards a game.
Blake Bortles came into this game as the only quarterback besides Cam Newton to have at least 20 rushing yards in every game this year.
Nate,
that's a fact.
That lineup, also, I may have ran the lineup with some lock to get Trubisky in it. I should throw that out there. I think maybe Elliott.
I will say this. I actually don't think Trubisky doesn't – I would have gone – like, honestly, I had a lot of Watson in tournaments. I couldn't do Watson in cash. If Watson was healthy, Watson would have been the play over Trubisky. Watson runs more. He throws the ball more. He has better – like targets, and he just chucks. Like Watson runs a ton.
The Patriots defense is actually abhorrent though.
But outside of Cam, Watson runs nonstop.
Nothing. Yeah.
Outside of Cam, Watson runs nonstop.
I would just like to say that if you think defense matters, the Patriots defense they're horrible at every level.
Yeah, but Trubisky is terrible. Like if you put him in a skills competition against Blake Bortles and everybody loses. You know what I mean? It's a tie and we all lose.
Well, Bortles is actually good in a skills competition because it doesn't matter that his windup takes 3 seconds.
True.
But Trubisky, when like pretty much as soon as they got down, he just was like, he couldn't do anything.
He's the new Bortles. He got all the garbage time.
No, he got worse when they went down because he had to throw and he can't throw.
Dude, that one rush he had, honestly, like 40-yard touchdown was so sick.
Bortles and Trubisky actually projected like very similar from like pass attempt standpoint, from an average.
So good play, Sammy.
From a pace standpoint, like.
just wrong side of variance, bro.
I guess if Trubisky was like owned, which doesn't make any sense to me. I don't see how you own Trubisky here.
Because quarterbacks don't matter anyways, so you should always err on taking quarterbacks with rushing upside.
I could see Baker. I could see Jameis. I couldn't see.
I had Trubisky on like 3 teams.
No. Dude, play Drew Brees over him. Like, Drew Brees is like the same.
I wasn't playing Drew Brees on the road. I'm not.
No. That was legit bad.
I'm good at DFS, so I avoid doing things like that now. Taysom Hill might have outscored him today. Nate, you like think we're joking, but Taysom Hill is like their red zone quarterback. It's like not even a joke. They like actually.
Oh, I know. This. And they use him on fake punts.
Yeah, Taysom Hill ran for 35 yards.
You cannot play Drew Brees outdoors. It's not even defense mattering. It's just you can't play him outdoors. He's like a legit full yard YPA worse outside.
Yeah. But he's still better than Mitchell Trubisky by like
he doesn't run. So no, it doesn't matter. Like here's the thing. These are the binary outcomes on DraftKings. 15 points, 21 points. And then you get the jump if you get the third touchdown and the 300 yards, you get to 27. And that's about as good as like a pocket passer can get to 30.
So you also have the Bortles, and that's 3.5. Also.
Right. Also.
Right.
So, why didn't we all play CJ Beathard? Like Beathard at 4.8. Like
I just didn't want to because I don't think he's very good.
I thought the Rams would just crush his soul.
Definitely thought that there was some Bortles potential with him.
Yeah.
What did he actually get? I don't even know.
170 yards, a passing touchdown, 2 picks.
He got 9. Yeah. So yeah. I wasn't willing to accept 9 DraftKings points.
Yeah. By the way, he was also sacked 7 times. I know you don't get minus points for that, but 7 times he got sacked.
He's not very good, but like every time he like does something, like he breaks off a 13-yarder or whatever, like fantasy Twitter like faps to him real quick.
Yeah, I mean during 4.8,
I actually thought he would be my guy. Last week, I thought that Beathard would be my guy because I'm like, dude, everyone's going to play Beathard. Like he gets 250 and 2 touchdowns all the time for 4.8. Like count it.
He hasn't scored less than 15 in any start yet.
Yeah, he was a fine play.
It's the same thing as saying that Adam Thielen had 100 yards in 7 games.
Quarterback consistency is not a thing.
No, but like here is a sneaky thing that I'm just now processing. The Vikings are like totally invested in keeping this streak going. And like if you think teams don't make decisions based off of that, you're totally wrong. They do. Like the Steelers with Antonio Brown's 5 catches for 50 yards thing.
Definitely manufactured it.
There was 2 separate games where they were down 20 and another they were like up 18 in the fourth quarter and they gave him 2 like quick fire screens to keep the streak going.
Yep. I remember it well. It was glorious.
Teams and the Vikings did the same thing. They threw a Thielen like an 18-yarder or whatever and then they ran the clock out.
Yeah, to Bing Fernando. Yeah.
He like just got over it. He got 110, but it was like he needed to catch 90% of the passes. And yeah, he definitely had his lowest workload this week for sure.
Yeah, I'm not even saying like he was a bad or a good play. I'm just saying that's actually a thing to note that does dictate usage by coaching.
I want to just go all out and say if you played him because of that consistency metric, it was a bad play.
Well, yeah, I mean, consistency metrics are stupid. But he was a fine play on its face because he is kind of what people think Antonio Brown is actually now.
Wait, what?
No, Diggs is Antonio Brown.
No, in terms of like a fantasy asset, like people I think still kind of think Antonio Brown gets like 16 targets a game.
From a consistency standpoint, though, like Michael Thomas is much more consistent than like if you want to look at actual like projectable consistency. I would say if you're looking for like the most consistent wide receiver in the game from here on out, it's going to be Michael Thomas over Thielen.
Yeah. So we all had Njoku at tight end.
Yeah.
How many targets did he get, Nate? It was like not enough.
No, I mean Njoku got work.
He had 0 for a while.
He had 6 targets. Yeah, he had 17% target share, 20% air yard share.
He just did Njoku things. Like he made two big plays down the field. One was a touchdown, like against Tampa Bay, who's terrible. Like he was obvious and he was good.
Yeah, I was fine with Njoku. I think, if you looked at Jarvis Landry, I mean, he got 15 of the targets, and then it was David Njoku. So even though Njoku's Whopper isn't going to look great at 39, it was the second on the team. And, I think Njoku was fine. Jarvis
Any of you guys play Damian Ratley at all?
No. Did he do good?
No. Of course he didn't do good.
George Kittle was the only other tight end that I thought was really in play.
Obviously,
I had a ton of Kittle in GPP.
I mean, obviously, Landry scored a touchdown this week.
I mean, why wouldn't he?
Dude, Landry smashed this week.
Yeah, he did. What did we learn this week, boys? Sammy, what did you learn?
I learned that I'm a complete idiot. Like, dude, I've been so confident all season. I was like, everything I touch turns to gold. This is all great. And, don't play bad players in cash games. Don't play Blake Bortles. Don't play.
Oh, you can play you can play bad players, but don't play bad plays.
Yeah, well, I did that, so I'm not going to do that anymore. That's all I got to say. I mean, what else is there?
On the real, we did actually learn exactly how the Browns are going to use Chubb and Duke Johnson, which is Duke Johnson is going to not do a damn thing, and Nick Chubb is going to get did he get 2 targets?
Yeah.
Chubb? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was this narrative that people were going on about, and they're like, well, play Chubb on DraftKings and play Duke on DraftKings and play Chubb on FanDuel. And that was like, what are you talking about? That doesn't even make any sense. You're just saying that because you don't really know what's going to happen. Like, that's just a reaction. It's just something to say because you're indecisive. But the reality is Duke is Duke. And we've seen his usage be the same all season. And it is what it is, but it's not good.
Yeah, I think you knew exactly what you were going to get with Duke, and this is what you got. I wasn't surprised by the Duke.
They were down the whole game, 1-2 scores the whole game, and he still wasn't involved.
Yeah.
We learned that if Cooper Kupp is out, it does not matter. Doesn't matter a single iota. There's not going to be a replacement for him. They filled in with a bunch of different guys. Higbee played more. Everett played more. Nick Williams played more. Josh Reynolds played some. Not enough. Not enough, Josh. I spent real fab dollars on him too.
Hey, we didn't talk about Andrew Luck at all because he didn't really have a big volume game.
How about Marlon Mack smash?
Marlon Mack, Indianapolis, Luck and Mack, I think are both very interesting. I think we need to start really considering. I mean, Mack had a monster day, bro.
I mean, a lot of it was he did score in the fourth quarter or whatever, but
sure.
Hines barely played, so Mack is just the dude.
Yeah,
I mean, he only got 3 targets. What did he do?
He had 126 rushing yards and a touchdown, and then 30.
The highest scoring running back.
I knew that, but was it just touchdown variance on his side?
No, he was out. He was just out there the whole game.
Dude, yeah, he had 160 total yards, man. I mean, you're at home against Buffalo. That's a nut spot, but I mean, dude, that kind of usage when he's at home, I mean.
Chubb is he's unplayable this next week too, which is interesting.
At Pittsburgh?
Yeah, 4,700.
Yeah, I'm cool. Going back to the Chubb fade for me.
It's just interesting. It's just interesting that so many people came to bat for him this week as a future superstar, and he's going to be 3% owned.
Davis is just tilted because he doesn't own him in seasonal.
Oh, I'm insanely tilted. You couldn't even believe how angry I was. I go to our Yahoo friends or our Roto World friends and family league, and Adam Levitan has him, and he's 5-1 and has this amazing team, and my team's horrible, obviously, and Gronkowski is injured this week. So I'm just like scrambling to like get in like Ben Watson and CJ Uzoma, and it's just.
Dude, they both caught touchdowns.
It actually, probably worked out for me because Gronk was definitely never scoring in this game.
No. Why would you want to right tackle in your tight end spot?
Sammy, the one sharp thing you did of all the spots in your lineup today was to play Josh Gordon. That was the only intelligent.
Oh, yeah, I did do that. But then he didn't even score that touchdown. Did you see that play?
Yeah, he just like kind of like was jogging. It was really weird.
Yeah, it was like they were at a scrimmage or something. Like he forgot where he was.
I don't know what that was.
Okay, what's the excitement about Mac? The more I'm diving into this, Mac only got 50% of the rushing attempts, just the same as he did last week. And
we're talking about Josh Gordon, the GOAT, right now, Nate.
But Mac just got touchdown variance on his side this week. There was no distinct change in workload at all for him.
Well, he
had 21 touches against a terrible defense.
Yeah, I think he went from.
It was just the plays that the team had. He still only had 50% of the rushing attempts, and well, I guess he had 13% of the targets, but it was still only 3 targets. They just didn't throw.
Nate, you're such a Debbie Downer, man. Why can't
I'm just saying, take aside the touchdowns, and he had just a
just a solid.
He only had 20 DK points without the touchdown.
20 more than Jermaine Kearse, by the way.
You take the touchdowns away, and all you have left is one boring Julio Jones.
You guys are the worst.
Oh, this freaking day.
Almost like you get fantasy points for scoring touchdowns, Nate.
If you don't see the point that I'm trying to make of just that his workload didn't fundamentally change.
Well, I wish it did because I have Nyheim Hines in all my seasonal leagues, so I wish it fundamentally changed for the worst. I'm really tilting not having a good seasonal team. Normally I have at least one really good one, but they're all just kind of mediocre.
Well, at least we've lost our hats at DFS this week, too.
Nate, you have any really good seasonal teams?
I mean, both mine are doing all right.
Do you have James Conner in either one?
No.
Sammy, do you have James Conner?
You're damn right I do.
Yeah.
I'm a Steelers homer. I have all sorts of Steelers. I have James Conner and Le'Veon Bell on a team, and I'm hoping that Lev gets traded to somebody good, and I can just like roll both of them out and smash. That's like the nut high, and the nut low is like Le'Veon comes back and they split time.
I hope Lev just retires.
starts working on his rap game.
Yeah.
Takes a shot at Eminem.
Nate, do you have any other non-Marlon Mack observations?
No. I mean, other than the fact that
I have a really good one. Corey Davis is awful. He's just bad.
I mean, did we ever say he was good?
Just don't play Corey Davis.
Dude,
he tricked everyone with the overtime game.
Yeah, you're slowly disassociating yourself from this brand play, Nate. I don't think that's fair.
The play was always volume. It was never about him being good or bad.
He probably still has like a 28% target share in that offense.
Yeah, he does.
My only take is like buy Stephon Diggs. I mean, Stephon Diggs is getting the volume. Diggs had 14 targets for like 134 air yards. He had way more opportunity than Thielen, but everybody's riding Thielen because he's.
Yeah, it's true.
So that was my big GPP thing this week. Is I had 0 Thielen and all the Diggs, and I was like, this is happening.
That was the play
for those reasons. And just ran bad. The process was great though.
Corey Davis got outgained by Luke Stalker and Jonnu Smith today, but he did beat them in target volume.
Still better than Kearse.
Still better than Kearse.
Should have played Corey Davis.
Should have played Taywan Taylor or Cameron Batson. I think that's a good place for us to leave you. Everyone, thank you for listening, and we hope that your Sunday was a lot better than ours was.